Everyone thinks the Sena SF4 is just an entry-level comms unit you outgrow in a season. But here's the thing, for most small group riders, it actually beats pricier systems where it matters. Reliable range, clear audio, and fewer headaches. Because simplicity wins rides. I spent 2 weeks and about 600 miles testing it across city traffic, open farm roads, canyon twisties, and a rainstorm to see if the four-way intercom and audio overlay really hold up. And what I discovered changed how I think about Bluetooth comms, especially if you ride with iPhone users. Stick with me because a single setting in the app flipped my experience from meh to solid. Before we dive into what I discovered, quick heads up. If you're already leaning SF4 and want the best current price, I dropped a link below. It's around $169.95 with a 4-star rating on Amazon, but hang tight because there's a catch that could save you a return. I picked up the SF4 because I needed a no-drama way to keep 4 riders connected on weekend runs. Our group rides had turned into a game of charades, taps on helmets, missed exits, and rookie mistakes multiplied by wind noise. I tried a cheaper unit that promised a mile of range and delivered half a city block. Battery died mid-ride, pairing was a circus, and the mic sounded like we were yelling into a paper bag. I didn't want to jump to a premium mesh system with a premium price because our group is 4 riders max and we rarely ride in dense packs. The SF4's promise of 4-way intercom over 1.2 km, 0.8 mi, smartphone connectivity, and audio overlay sounded like the sweet spot. But I was skeptical. Could a sub-$200 unit be more than just okay? Setup was my first test. I mounted the clamp on a full-face helmet in about 15 minutes, including routing the speakers behind the cheek pads and placing the boomless wired mic. Pairing to an Android phone and then adding a GPS was straightforward with the Sena Utility App. I also paired it separately to an iPhone 13 to check compatibility. The buttons are chunky and glove-friendly, but you will need to learn a couple of press-and-hold combos for intercom and music controls. So far, so good, but then came the range test. On an open farm road with true line of sight, 2 SF4 units held a clear intercom link up to roughly 1.0–1.1 km before the audio started to thin out, which is impressively close to the 1.2 km claim. We pushed it farther and got the expected dropouts, but reconnection was quick as soon as we moved back into range. In light urban clutter with trees and buildings, range dropped to around 300–500 meters before crackles crept in. Not shocking, but something to know. Then we hit a canyon with blind turns. At about 400 meters and a ridge between riders, the link dipped, but here's where it gets interesting. Once we crested back into partial sightline, the SF4 auto-reconnected within about 10 seconds without us touching anything. Next, audio at speed. With the stock speakers properly centered over the ear canal, music and nav prompts were clear up to 65–70 mph with foam earplugs in. Above that, I had to bump volume to max, and the bass is fine, not floor shaking. The mic's noise reduction does real work. We carried normal conversation at 60–70 mph, and friends said my voice sounded natural, not tinny. But then a 20–25 mph crosswind hit at freeway speeds, and I got intermittent choppiness. Moving the mic 1 cm away from my lips and slightly off-center reduced the wind bursts noticeably. Little placement tweaks matter with this unit. Audio overlay was the make or break test. On Android, overlay works the way you hope. The music ducks under intercom chatter, then pops back up. It felt seamless on a 2-hour mixed ride and kept the vibe alive without killing safety. On iOS, it's limited. I could get music and intercom working, but the blend wasn't as consistent, and sometimes it defaulted to either or behavior until I toggled settings in the app. If you're an iPhone-first rider and you love constant background music during group chat, temper expectations. But here's the twist. Tweaking the overlay and intercom sensitivity in the app dramatically improved the iOS experience, just not to Android levels. Battery and durability next. I logged 2 long days, about 9–10 hours each with a mix of intercom and streaming. The SF4 still had juice at the end of both, landing close to the advertised 13-hour talk time. Full charge from near empty was roughly 1.52 hours via micro USB. Not USB-C, which is a minor annoyance in 2026, but the real-world endurance is solid. We rode through a steady 30-minute rain. The unit shrugged it off. Buttons remained tactile, though wet gloves made mise presses more likely until muscle memory kicked in. Universal intercom pairing to a buddy's different brand unit worked, but it took an extra minute and wasn't as seamless as Sena to Sena. The biggest surprise? The SF4's stability with exactly the group it targets. Up to 4 riders who don't need mesh. It didn't try to be clever, it was just consistent. Our small pack felt more connected, and we stopped playing broken telephone with hand signals. I put in the time, 2 weekends, multiple firmware checks via the Sena app, and back-to-back tests on Android and iOS, and the pattern was clear. The SF4 delivers near-claim range in open terrain and respectable performance in mixed environments. The audio overlay is a genuine advantage on Android, letting you actually enjoy music and intercom at the same time. On iOS, the functionality exists but feels limited. The app tweaks help, yet it's not perfect. Compared to pricier mesh units, you lose big group flexibility and auto-heal magic in dense packs, but you gain simplicity, less battery drain, and a lower price of entry at around $169.95. No USB-C and button combos are the main nitpicks. If you're expecting theater-grade bass or flawless iOS overlay, it's not too good to be true, it's simply a trade-off. Now that you know the SF4's real strengths and the iOS caveat, the next step is easy. If your group is 4 riders or fewer and you value stable comms over bells and whistles, grab it while the price holds. I've linked the best current deal in the description. Bottom line, the Sena SF4 makes the most sense for small groups, commuters, and weekend riders who want reliable 4-way intercom, smartphone connectivity, and audio overlay that shines on Android. iPhone riders still get a dependable intercom, just expect limited overlay. If you need mesh for big, dynamic groups, look at higher-end models. But if you want fewer dropouts, all-day battery, and a set-it-and-ride experience at a fair price, the SF4 punches above its weight. Here's what nobody tells you: sometimes the right comm system is the one you forget about once the ride starts.